What's good, YouTube? And welcome to two pretty nice Starlight choices that bring up two very interesting conversations. The first one came from the comment section on the last video, but I have mentioned it before. We don't know the actual ratios of Starlight rares and prismatic secret rares in terms of the volume of the amount of singles they're going to print. What do I mean by this? We knew that there were 50 quarter century secret rare cards last time, and the prismatic secret rare pool was way bigger than that. So you pulled an equal amount of quarter century secret rares and prismatic secrets, but the singular quarter century secret rares ended up being easier to pull than a specific prismatic secret. This year, the pools could be equal. They could be the same. You could actually have more Starlight rares. We don't know until we see the actual set list or full set reveals, and I have a feeling Prismatic Secret will still be harder to pull overall, but that's speculation at this point. The second one is Konami continuing to push past formats under their new program, Time Travel. Bottomless Trap Hole gets stronger under Time Travel, and I don't think that's a coincidence at all. Where do you think the picks for TCG exclusive products come from? Is from the TCG offices submitting them and Japan saying yes or no, do it again. And Bottomless Trap Hole got way stronger under Time Travel. Example, I summon Judgment Dragon, there's no priority anymore, you bottomless, I don't get to nuke the board. This got really a buff from those rules. So I think it's a push from the US office. I have people telling me I'm going too deep, conspiracy theory, or Konami's not actually going that direction, but why do you think they didn't print this in 3 years of quarter century secret rare, despite being one of the top? There's Book of Moon above it. You then have this champion pack supers of all time. Konami listens to the secondary market. I don't get the argument ever that they don't, because we see the top reprints short printed again, don't we? It's not by tournament results only, it's yes, also price, what can sell the product. Konami is looking at that stuff, and that is very blatant. So when it comes down to this, we know there's a huge demand for this card, there's a huge history for this card, but 3 years of QCRs and it didn't end up when Book of Moon was already in the second rarity collection and you had that entire nostalgia pool. I think it is a direct response, personally, to Time Travel and pushing that. But that's my take. Let me know yours. Also, I wanted to note real quick, while I have a lot of past format cards later, I got a comment like, get to the old stuff, new, modern, boring. I don't think so, but I did see that there are sales on first edition Secret Honest in the $80 range here lately, and it's pushing back up. We've had this conversation that only old school first edition feels worth at times, along with Ultimate Rare First Ed from the older sets, but secret rares are starting to trend back up. Even though Light of Destruction has a re-wave sealed box unlim, it doesn't feel the same, and people are starting to buy certain older versions. Now, get to the merch before the meta, John. This is at Ross for just $50, and I say just because it used to retail at $100. The dual disc are around, and they're a great prop or fun times, but they're not the best of quality, which is how they ended up on clearance here. Be aware, and people are saying they're going out and getting them while others are debating it. Got a lot of attention. I got a lot of people saying, hey, I'm going out right now, and I sourced this from Zodiac. I'm not the OG guy who found out that these were over at Ross or anything, but do be aware, if you're in the market for a dual disc, they are half price over there. Draco Tail continues to go up. The Ultras are on the full buyout mode for 5 Mina, and you can see here the curve back down and then back up. So a double down buyout indeed, to the point where the Ultras are starting to push near quickly the collector rare price. One of two things will happen here most likely. Either the ultra rare chills out once again, or people begin buying the collector rare because the prices are so close. The market usually corrects itself in these situations, and we'll see which it is. My guess would be people start to buy the collector rare up at this point versus the ultra personally, because the deck has a lot of current demand for it. Shaddolls continue to get buyouts at their new price, $38 consistent sales on Shaddoll Fusion QCR, and now Dragon is starting to go for around $13 to $10 somewhat consistently at this point. Mix and match engines with these new decks and them also being played as engines is a pretty impressive thing. King of the Swamp came up in the Discord earlier this week, but it was on buyout mode already, and I didn't want to be fuel on that fire. I always try to find that balance of bringing you all information, but also trying not to cause the buyout, and the buyout was already going very strong. There were like 3 copies before it was fully bought out. So now it is to the point of $33, $35 at this point for the collector rare. Crystron Fistvern, I don't think I murdered it for once, has its Mega Pack version bought out to $10 freaking lowest, although there's a new listing since at 5 with 12 of them, so people are getting on those listings right now. But you can see even a sale at freaking 6, most of them sold at just $1, and the OG version is still sitting here available plenty at $1. But again, another Crystron common going up that hasn't had a reprint in a long time. You should be pulling them out of bulk if you see them. Be careful who you make fun of getting max rarity. Sol and Luna Quarter Century Secret Rare is going up for the Penned Flip deck, and it is now towards $4 to $5. An absolute crazy spike on its price, and one that everyone said didn't deserve it, now getting a bit of attention. Spellbound is going back up. This is bounded up for multiple formats, then fallen back down, then gone up, then fallen down. It has a bit of an overhype history, but it also has proved itself at times. If you're not familiar with the card, all face-up monsters your opponent controls cannot be tributed or used as material for fusion, synchro, Xyz, or link summons until the end of this turn, and it's a quick play. So yeah, it is just up towards $3. You can see it goes to $5 after a very few listings, so it's probably about to set itself around 5. Gravekeeper's Inscription is nothing but down, but my Discord was also bringing up this one alongside it as a great option for the format. So this one is pretty easy access right now and really gives you the ability to control your opponent's graveyard in a graveyard format. Grisaille Prison is also getting a lot of attention for its super rare out of Fusion Enforcers. You can see it was around the quarter, and now the lowest supers are $1 and then quickly start to rise from there. With Fusion Enforcers, remember the EU version really taco warps, but more so on the ultras than the supers, I feel. Let me know if you're from the EU and how the super quality is on these. But yeah, it's getting a bit of attention, and also a floodgate that I used to try to really push in my decks, but didn't feel like it worked out in past formats. Maybe its time has arrived here. Then we have, for the past format crew, Blackwing Silverwind the Ascendant Rare is rising up towards $17 lowest. Wow, I did not think it had that price. I'll have to start going through rare boxes at some point. That is crazy. Big Burn First Edition out of IOC has a $20 copy, and this did spur a bit of conversation in the Discord, because you can see here the lowest listings are around 20, but if we start to go back here, you can actually find some light play first edition, $1.35, and a lot of people will settle, and there's not the most sales on like first edition light play. You can see a lot of unlimited going. Here's my thoughts. Near Mint IOC. That is an iconic set to where it ended up in Legendary Collection. And then you get the Unlimiteds re-waved 5 times. First edition Near Mint is truly rare, and these cards ended up played unsleeved in tins. So people going for grading sets, or also probably just wanting a really fresh copy to play with, are going to lean to buy Near Mint listings and then go through the hassle of, oh, this isn't near mint, or wow, I got a really clean copy. I remember when you used to pull this, you didn't even realize you had a holo. And this card is basically for stopping stuff like premature burial, or I think even Magician of Faith. Nope, it's a monster card, my bad. You can only activate this card when your opponent activates a card that specifically designates a monster in the graveyard as a target. Remove all monsters in both players' graveyards from play. So you're looking at Call the Haunted, Premature Burial, those kind of cards more so. Karma Cut Quarter Century Secret Rare is going up in price. This has multiple past formats to be played, and I don't think it's the most surprising to see it around $8, considering the super rare out of DR4 was like $30 even before there was a true collector market in Yu-Gi-Oh! Horus the Black Flame Dragon level 4 has a sale at $300 for a near mint first edition this month. That's pretty impressive, and the lowest listings are right around there as well. So the collector market's not like fully washed out. People are still going in and getting things and completing their sets. And again, first ed ulti old school is a lot more recognized, I feel like. Machina Gear Frame for its quarter century secret rare has been bought out, as well as Machina Fortress. This has been going up, and it is played in Modern with the RB deck. I thought that was first RBet when somebody was talking about it. Then I was like, Ritual Beast can't be. RB is the new Machine deck out of Duelist Nexus. So being able to actually perform with it is interesting, and we see that both of them have gone up, not because of Edison for once, although they were already up because of Edison, but now even further for the mix of being played in Modern and past formats. And then Machina Force Secret Rare has a fresh buyout where the lowest listing is $40 freaking dollars. Where are the sales? Yeah, bought out at 40. That is crazy, and through the 30s for first edition. So if you have this secret out of Legendary Collection Yu-Gi World, you got a good chunk of change. Thanks for watching today's Market Watch. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoy these conversations and going through them, because I do think actually calling out where Konami's mind is on things is important to looking at where the future of products will be, as well as where they're going for, and actually looking at the inner workings of how they operate and going through consistent, educated guessing with them. You're not always going to get it right, but I do think it is important to have those conversations because so much of the market is speculative to begin with.